SIG P226 series. SIG Sauer developed the P226 in the early 1980s for the U.S. XM9 trials to replace the M1911. Production spanned Swiss design with German and later U.S. manufacture. Although the M9 won the contract, the P226 entered elite American service on merit, particularly within naval special warfare, where reliability and corrosion resistance mattered in maritime environments. The P228 followed later in the decade and entered U.S. service as the M11. The P229 arrived in the 90s with a beefed-up slide and frame for 40 S&W and 357 SIG. Early German P226s used stamped carbon steel slides with pinned breech blocks, while later U.S. production moved to milled stainless slides to tolerate 40 S&W, 357 SIG pressures, and heavy use. Accessory rails, night sights, and lanyard loops were common New South Wales preferences. Mech-Gar magazines and maritime spring sets helped ensure reliable cycling in saltwater environments. SEALs used the P226 as a primary sidearm from the 1980s forward, especially for shipboarding, amphibious operations, and close-quarters urban work. The compact M11 served where size and weight savings were priorities, including aircrew and plainclothes roles, while certain Coast Guard units fielded the P229 DAK. The P226, P228 M11, and P229 are short recoil, mechanically locked pistols with DA/SA operation DAO on the DAK variant. The P226 Navy configuration incorporated phosphate-coated internals and an anchor-engraved slide to address saltwater exposure. Over time, many NINSAL elements transitioned to compact 9mm striker-fired pistols, but P-Series pistols remain in circulation and available commercially in multiple chamberings. CQB-R carbine. The close-quarters battle receiver emerged in the early 2000s as a shortened upper for the M4 family, formalized as the Mk18 Mod 0 and later Mod 1. The concept drew on Vietnam-era short carbines like the Colt Commando, but aimed to deliver modern optics, rails, and suppressor integration in a compact package optimized for ships and urban interiors. Naval Surface Warfare Center. Crane oversaw configuration, with early Knights armament rails giving way to the Daniel Defense RIS-2 on the Mod 1. Crane spec 10.3-inch barrels are ported for reliable function with and without suppressors, typically paired with H2, H3 buffers and carbine springs to control bolt speed. SOPIA Mod Block 2. Optics and lasers common examples include micro-red dots, magnifiers, and IR flood/point designators gave short uppers precise night capability, and units often favored 77 grain ammunition for better terminal effect from short barrels. SEAL platoons employed the Mk18 for shipboarding, hostage rescue, and compound clearing where short barrels simplify movement through hatches and hallways. Suppressor use with night vision compatible lasers and optics is common, and the platform integrates into SOP Mod accessory ecosystems, chambered in 5.566 45mm NATO with a 10.3-inch barrel. Cyclic rates sit in the 700 to 950 RPM band, and velocities hover around the mid-2600 FPS range with duty loads. The Mk18's compact length with stock collapsed eases vehicle work and ladder wells, while full parts compatibility with the broader M4A1 fleet reduces logistical friction. The Mod has too entered SOCOM inventories in large numbers, and the configuration remains in widespread service alongside other carbines. HK MP7A1. Heckler & Koch developed the MP7 in the late 1990s and introduced it in 2001 in response to NATO interest in compact weapons capable of defeating modern soft armor. Rather than 9.19mm, the design uses 6x30mm, a high-velocity small-caliber round that allows a very small receiver and low recoil while giving better performance through armor than typical pistol cartridges. The A1 update refined controls and furniture as the platform matured. The platform's short-stroke gas system and rotating bolt keep reciprocating mass low, aiding controllability and automatic fire. Fully ambidextrous controls and flip-up sights integrated into the top rail simplify transitions for mixed-handed teams. Armor performance is assessed against NATO's CRISAT target standards, and compact cans further reduce flash and cyclic climb in enclosed interiors. DevGru and select naval special warfare elements field the MP7A1 for close quarters, counter-terrorism, and covert entries where concealability is essential. The weapons size with stock retracted suits, plainclothes details, and tight quarters movement, and suppressed use is common in indoor work. The MP7A1 uses a short-stroke piston operating system, a rotating bolt, and magazines inserted through the pistol grip in 20 and 40 round capacities. Reportage has linked the MP7 to high-visibility counter-terror operations in the early 2010s, and its role within naval special warfare remains specialized relative to 5.56 carbines. International special operations units adopted it in similar niches, and commercial semi-auto analogs are limited due to import and configuration constraints. M240. Fabrique Nationale designed the MHE adopted in U.S. service as the M240 in the late 1950s. The U.S. Army first fielded coaxial and aircraft variants on vehicles in the late 1970s, before infantry adoption accelerated in the 1990s to replace the M60. Its reputation rests on reliability under sustained fire, with modern quick-change barrels and robust belt-feed geometry. Gunner assistant gunner teams manage ammo belts, tripod, and spare barrel, rotating barrels by round count or thermal cues. The gun offers multiple gas settings to maintain cyclic rate as fouling increases. M13 disintegrating links feed from soft packs on foot or ammo cans on mounts, and top cover rails now accept day optics or thermal sights for refined fire. Naval Special Warfare uses M240 variants on SOCR boats for riverine security, on helicopter pintles during insertions and overwatch, and dismounted for suppressive fire during raids and movement in open terrain. Vehicle-mounted GMVs use the gun extensively for convoy protection and direct fire. Chambered in 7.62 × 51 mm. NATO. Typical cyclic rates span roughly 650 to 950 rounds per minute, depending on configuration, and effective ranges extend beyond a kilometer for area targets with tripods and optics. The lighter M240L trimmed several pounds via titanium and polymer components to ease infantry burdens without changing the feed or action. The design remains the standard U.S. general-purpose machine gun and is widely fielded abroad. HK-45 Compact. Heckler & Koch developed the HK-45 family in the mid-2000s. Incorporating input from Larry Vickers and Ken Hackathorn, the compact HK-45 Compact appeared around 2006 to 2007. The compact tactical variant HK-45 Compact Tactical added a threaded barrel, raised sights, and other features to support suppressed use. Naval Special Warfare adopted the Compact 45 Auto as a specialized sidearm alongside other pistols. Units fielded DA, SA, and law enforcement modification trigger variants. Backstrap options allowed consistent reach with gloves, and raised sights cleared common NISAF suppressors. The compact magazines are flush-fit 8-rounders with optional 10-round extensions. Slide geometry and recoil system were tuned for heavy subsonic loads, maintaining reliability with lights and IR modules attached on the dust cover rails. SEAL teams and DevGru employed the HK-45 Compact Tactical as a suppressed CQB pistol for raids and hostage rescue, where reduced muzzle report and heavy .45 projectiles were valued. The pistol integrates light and IR aiming devices on a rail for night vision work, short recoil operation with DA/SA controls, ambidextrous levers, and interchangeable backstraps define the platform. UMS. Sources have referred to a Mark 24 designation in Nissan's contexts, and the pistol shares lineage with the USP Compact Tactical while updating ergonomics. The model remains available in civilian channels, and its role within SOCOM has narrowed as compact 9mm pistols with higher capacity took broader carry roles. Mk16 SCAR-L. F.N. Herstal developed the SCAR program in the mid-2000s for SOCOM, fielding the Mk16 SCAR-L in 5.5645mm and the Mk17 SCAR-H in 7.6251mm. The SCAR-L entered limited service around 2009 with a quick change barrel system supporting CQC, standard, and longer barrels plus a folding, collapsible stock to tailor length to mission needs. A short-stroke piston with a two-position regulator drives a free-floated barrel, and the reciprocating charging handle doubles as a forward assist. Polymer lowers and a folding, collapsing stock, reduce weight, and storage length. Despite positive endurance and sand testing, logistics parity with extensive M4 inventories and training pipelines curtailed broader SCAR-L fielding in SOCOM. SEALs and other SOCOM units evaluated the SCAR-L as a candidate to rationalize multiple 5.56 roles from CQB through mid-range patrolling and to host grenade launchers in a single family. The rifle saw training and operational use in select units, including Ranger elements, before procurement focus shifted back to M4A1's 18 patterns for commonality and cost. The SCAR's piston system, monolithic top rail, and side-folding stock are unusual in U.S. issue rifles and aided storage in vehicles and aircraft. Although the Mk16 procurement scaled back, the Mk17 remained, and civilian semi-auto variants derived from the SCAR platform are widely sold. Within SOCOM, the SCAR-L story remains a useful case study in standardization pressures versus modular innovation. MK14 Mod 0 EBR. The MK14 Mod 0 traces to the early 2000s when NSWOC Crane reworked the 1950s-era M14 action into a modern chassis rifle for 7.62 by 51mm NATO. The goal was a compact, durable designated marksman system that preserved the proven M14 receiver and gas system while adding rails, an adjustable stock, and an 18-inch barrel to balance handling with effective range. The Sage International chassis introduced an adjustable aluminum stock with cheek riser and full-length top rail. Accuracy in service commonly clustered around 1 to 1.5 MOA, with match ammunition such as 125 grain M118LR. Trade-offs included increased muzzle blast from the 18-inch barrel and greater mass compared to lighter 7.62 NATO modern rifles. SEALs fielded the EBR in Iraq and Afghanistan when engagements demanded more reach and barrier penetration than 5.56 carbines could reliably deliver. The rifle served as a medium-range precision tool on Overwatch, for counter-sniper screening, and in patrols that shifted between urban interiors and open ground. The EBR kept the 20-round box magazine and semi-automatic operation of the M14 while adding a telescopic stock, pistol grip, and extensive Picatinny real estate for optics, lasers, and lights. Units across the services adopted related chassis conversions, and Marine elements used the M39 EMR as 7.62 51 rifles, like the SCAR-H and the Mk20 SSR, proliferated. The EBR's role narrowed, though examples remain in service and in inventories for designated marksman tasks. SOCOM Mk13 Mod 5. The Mk13 lineage is rooted in the Remington 700 Long Action Naval Surface Warfare Center. Crane assembled early rifles in the 2000s for 300 Winchester Magnum to extend effective range over semi-automatic 7.62 systems, such as the Mk11. The Mod 5 configuration combined a precision barrel with an Accuracy International chassis system and rails for optics and accessories. Typical builds used Lilia stainless barrels with twists, suited to 190 to 220 grain, 300 Win-Mag match bullets, fed from AICS pattern magazines. Optics frequently included Leupold Mark IV or Night Force NXS with clip-on night devices. Ammunition like Mk248 Mod 001 extended supersonic range and wind performance, enabling consistent first-round solutions beyond 1,000 meters. SEAL snipers used the Mk13 Mod 5 for overwatch, counter-sniper work, and high-value target interdiction in environments where mountainous terrain and wide valleys demanded engagements past the reach of 7.62 NATO. Suppressor compatibility aided signature management on sustained hides. 300 Winchester Magnum cartridge provided flight characteristics and retained energy suited to 1,000-meter engagements and beyond, and the chassis furnished an adjustable cheekpiece and folding stock for portability. The platform's modular rails supported clip-on night devices and bipods. Newer programs introduced multi-caliber systems, yet the Mk13 Mod 5 remained a respected Ninsaufdau's bolt gun for extended range precision. Macmillan TAC-338. Macmillan Firearms developed the TAC-338 in the early 2000s as part of its TAC series. Building on the G30 long-action and chambering the M238 Lapua Magnum for modern long-range requirements. The intent was to bridge the gap between 300 Winchester Magnum bolt guns and 50 BMG anti-materiel rifles with a cartridge that carried energy and accuracy to 1,500 meters and beyond, with less weight and recoil than 50 caliber platforms. Heavy, match-grade barrels with 110 twists stabilize 250 to 300 gray, 338 Lapua projectiles. Efficient brakes and cans keep recoil manageable for rapid spotting. Detachable 5-round magazines aid prone reloads, and chassis or adjustable stocks allow precise eye alignment behind high magnification glass. Teams valued the cartridge's retained energy and reduced wind drift at extended desert distances. SEAL sniper elements used the TAC-338 in Iraq and Afghanistan for extended interdiction, counter-sniper roles, and Overwatch where shot distances exceeded the practical band of 7.62 NATO and 300 Winchester rigs. In desert and mountain terrain, the cartridge's downrange stability simplified wind calls relative to lighter bullets. The rifle typically employed a heavy match barrel, adjustable stock, and a detachable 5-round magazine, often paired with high magnification optics in the 8.5 to 25x class. Accounts associate the TAC-338 family with very long shots attributed to Ninsaufdauer snipers. The 338 Lapua's ability to defeat intermediate barriers at range reinforced its niche. Commercial availability persists for civilian precision shooters, and law enforcement marksmen have adopted similar builds. Mk15 Mod 0. The Mk15 Mod 0 is the U.S. Navy designation for the Macmillan TAC-50, a bolt-action 50 BMG rifle that entered Ninsaufdauer service in the late 1990s and early 2000s. It provided an anti-materiel capability with precision beyond semi-automatic .50 platforms, comp law enforcement modification ending earlier heavy rifles like the Macmillan M88. The design centered on a fluted, heavy match barrel, a fiberglass stock with adjustable butt, and a 5-round detachable magazine. Large multi-baffle brakes and long barrels maximize .50 BMG efficiency, while the bolt-action slow cadence simplifies trace observation and correction. Crews often carry the system in drag bags with spare parts, tools, and API/APIT loads for specific targets. Optics with high erector travel and sturdy mounts handle recoil without shifting zero during long deployments. SEAL teams used the Mk15 for long-range overwatch, counter-sniper work at extreme distances, and the DISAB law enforcement modification of vehicles, equipment, and fortified positions. Explosive ordnance disposal elements also employed it to neutralize IEDs from standoff ranges when other methods created unacceptable risk. The TAC-50 action is manually operated with a strong rotary bolt. Muzzle velocities cluster around the high 2000s FPS with 50 BMG duty loads, and effective engagements extend past 1,500 meters in skilled hands. Canadian service with the same base rifle produced record distance engagements in the early 2000s, underscoring the platform's ballistic envelope. Within SOCOM, the Mk-15 continues alongside semi-automatic .50s. Its role favors deliberate shots where first-round precision and simpler maintenance outweigh rate of fire advantages. If this video was informative or entertaining, consider passing it along to others with an interest in firearms history and subscribe to follow future installments. Suggestions for additional topics are welcome in the comments. Thanks for watching.